Good evening, everyone. Amanda Edsel coming to you live from Litchfield, Kentucky. This is going to be our weekly ministry, women's ministry live. We're going to be reading from a book called The 100 Most Important Bible Verses Every Leader Must Know. So if you're interested in getting that book, there's the title of it. So I recently took over our women's ministry, and I have decided to do lives a few nights a week from my profile for the women's ministry. And so if you're interested in being a part of our women's ministry, I have left a link up above this live so that you can request to join. So our lesson today is about advice taking. It says, the wise are glad to be instructed, Proverbs 10:8. Every leader, no matter how wise, needs advisors. We live in a world which is so complicated and so complex that no one is wise enough by himself. We all need trusted counselors to help us think clearly, plan wisely, and implement our plans at the right time in the right way. Hello, babe. Hi, Pastor Bubby. Wise leaders seek counsel from a variety of sources. They are constantly searching for ways to make things better, and they're not afraid of contrary opinions or constructive criticism. In fact, they seek a wide spectrum of ideas, always aware that groupthink and popular opinions are often wrong. So the next time you're faced with a difficult decision, start by talking things over with God, but don't stop there. As the old saying goes, 2 heads are indeed better than 1, and sometimes 3 are better than 2. And on occasion, 4 are better than, well, you get the idea. So leaders, you always need somebody that you can look up to, someone that, hi Angela, someone that, you want to pick somebody, a mentor that is where you want to go, who has done the things that you want to do, because listen, you don't want to take advice from someone who has not went through the things that you're going to go through on your journey, whether it be spiritually, business-wise, just life in general. And we want to make sure we are picking advisors wisely, because you don't, like I said, you don't want nobody that is going to give you the wrong advice. And constructive criticism, now people get a little upset when they get constructive criticism given to them. But what that is, for those that maybe don't know, is, okay, all right, I'm sitting here doing this women's ministry, okay, and I'm doing a live for the women's ministry. And so if I have one of my members, like my sister-in-law Angela, comes back to me and says, listen, you stuttered in the video too much, you took way too long in the video, you didn't speak loud enough, that's constructive criticism, but she's doing it out of love. She's letting me know where I can improve. So that is constructive criticism. Not all criticism is negative, okay? Well, sometimes our mentors aren't very nice, but they are straightforward, and that's what we need. We don't need nobody sugarcoating things to us. We need to hear it like it needs to be said to us. So I've got some quotes here with you, or to read to you all. The first one says, don't be afraid to take advice. There's always something new to learn. And Babe Ruth is the one that said that. True wisdom is marked by willingness to listen and a sense of knowing when to yield. Elizabeth George. The one who listens before he talks will succeed. Edwin Lewis Coe. A lot of times we let our mouth overrun ourselves there, and we don't listen to things that could possibly help us along the way. And it's very important just to stop and listen. Don't always be running your mouth, because, sometimes people got really good things to tell you, okay? And they do it out of love. They want you to succeed. They want you to better yourself. So let's make sure that we are listening. The next one is, the doorstep of wisdom is a consciousness of ignorance, and the gateway of perfection is a deep sense of imperfection. C.H. Spurgeon. For those that maybe just came on, I'm reading out of this book right here for our women's ministry. It's all about leadership. The next one says, wise people listen to wise instruction, especially instruction from the Word of God. Not until we have become humble and teachable, standing in awe of God's holiness and sovereignty, distrusting our own thoughts and willingly to have our minds turned upside down, can divine wisdom become ours. You know, we have a lot of issues dealing with our mind because we want to let the devil come in and we want to let him, you know, make us think things that ain't true. And then when we allow that to happen, then we're going to say things that's not true also. You got to be careful because it all starts up here. It's coming from your heart. It all starts up here. So what you think, you're going to let spew out of your mouth. And we got to be careful because when we're dealing with people in the public life, and you don't want to say things that's going to hurt their feelings. But at the same time, if you're a leader, you want to make sure that you're giving it to them straightforward, okay? But always make sure you're doing it out of love. More from God's word. Plans fail when there is no counsel, but with many advisors they succeed. Proverbs 15:22. He whose ear listens to the life-giving reproof will dwell among the wise. Proverbs 15:31. Get all the advice and instruction you can and be wise the rest of your life. Proverbs 19:20. You know, when I'm giving advice or I'm listening to a pastor or giving a sermon, or if I'm listening to a podcast that a pastor is giving, or even it don't even have to be a pastor. You know, there are some good Christian individuals that do podcasts and things, and they give a good advice. Make sure you always have a notebook beside you and take note because, you know, that's stuff that you can go back and you can share with the ladies in your life, the men in your life. Maybe you have a child that is trying to come to God and he or she is wanting to learn. Those are things that you can share with them, okay? So make sure you have a notebook and pen handy always. Get wisdom, how much better it is than gold, and get understanding, it is preferable to silver. Proverbs 16:16. A timely tip for leaders. If you can't listen to constructive criticism, remember we said that was where, you know, somebody gives you positive feedback on whatever you may do in like this live. I'm sure I'll get some feedback from it. And I want to take that and I want to learn from it, okay? So make sure that you're listening to that criticism with an open mind. Now if somebody comes to you and they're giving you suggestions on how you can do better. Maybe one of the things that might be said to me after this is look at the camera more, make eye contact. Okay, thank you. I appreciate you. I'll keep that in mind. Don't think negative, okay? Because as soon as you think negative, you're going to think whoever's giving you the positive feedback or constructive criticism is against you, and they're really not. They're just trying to help you. Perhaps you've acquired a severe case of old-fashioned stubbornness. Now listen, guys, I am the most stubborn person I could probably ever think of, really, to be honest with you. But we need to make sure that we are keeping that stubbornness under control, okay? So, if so, ask God to soften your heart, open your ears, and enlighten your mind. If I'm on here talking to y'all and I'm reading from this book, make sure your ears are open. Make sure you got a notebook handy because I may give you a tip of wisdom that's going to help you. Now, Pastor, we're not going to talk about that on here, sir. But just make sure you have your ears open because maybe I might say something that you have something to share about that topic that you can share with me. I might learn from you. But if I'm up here talking to you and, you know, you're not taking note of what's being said and, you know, what I always tell people when they ask me about taking notes is, take notes like you're going to have to teach it to somebody. Okay. That's what I always do. And my sister-in-law, she takes good notes too. She's our pastor's wife. I keep calling my sister-in-law, but first lady, she takes really good notes, and I can guarantee you I can look at her notes, and just from her notes, I could go and teach somebody else. Listen, y'all just pastors. I'm not going to pay attention to you all. And enlighten your mind. You want to make sure that you keep an open mind, because you're not always right. I'm not always right. The person that may be giving you advice may not always be right, but they may be onto something. You never know. So I wanted to come on and share that with you. I do have, like I said, I do have the women's ministry link in the description. Once I go ahead and finish this live, it will be in the description for y'all to click on. If I know you personally, like you're a family member or something, I will go ahead and accept you. But otherwise, I'm going to be checking you out. Just know that I do that. And I really want to make sure this is a fit for you before I just let you into the ministry page. But I want to do it on my profile because I got a lot of individuals that believe the way I do, and they could benefit from this study as well. So that's why I'm doing it here on my profile. So anyway, again, the book that I'm using, if y'all want to grab it for before the next Bible study, is this one here. It's a really good book. But I just want to come on and share it with y'all. If y'all have any comments about what I read, drop them in there. You know, sometimes I might pull some of y'all up to give me some, you know, feedback on it. But I just want to do this, come and do this real quick. Like, I'm new to this position for our ministry, so it's a work in progress. But I will be going live for the women's ministry on Mondays and Wednesdays. And then on Fridays, I have a treat for y'all. The pastor over the women's ministry, my mother, she will be coming on and doing her live. She will be reading from the Bible, or maybe she might give you all a sermon. Who knows? We don't know. It's Mama. But she's going to be doing that on Fridays. I'm going to leave that day open for her. But anyway, I just want to come here and share this real quick. I want to thank y'all, those of y'all in the ministry that has watched and been here to support this live. But I'm going to go ahead and hop off of here, and y'all have a blessed night.